Warning: the following video very likely contains heavy amounts of swearing.
Morning all. Well, here we go. The first episode of my planned series on the pubs of Belfast. And the plan today is to go to the Sunflower Bar. Now, Sunflower Pub. I don't know. I've never been there before. I've got a few friends that have been there that have said it's nice. The bar opens at 12. I'm going to aim to be there for about 12:30, and yeah, let's see how we go. See how it goes. Now, the important thing that I want to get across before we go into the video about the Sunflower Pub is that this is me visiting the pub during the day, just after it's opened. I want to try and get across what the experience is like for weirdos like me who just want to go into the pub when there's fuck all people in there, when there's nobody in there. I understand that the atmosphere and that a way a pub is completely different. You know, when it's full and it's got all your people in there and it's rowdy and you got that sort of atmosphere.
Imagine living in these apartments, you know. I think the other thing I'm going to have to deal with is that they've got the old-fashioned fucking bars on the outside, which aren't going to make it that inviting either, so... yeah. Okay. So, there we go. Sunflower Bar. Public house. Music. Looks cool. I'm going there now. So I could have come straight up from Smithfield as well. Okay. Well, have a look what this place is about.
So it's the next day and I'm going to talk a little bit about the experience overall. So the Sunflower Pub then. The pub itself then, let's see, you know, I walked in and I didn't feel uncomfortable. I felt a little bit nervous and anxious from outside because, you know, never been inside, didn't know what to expect. But when I stepped in, I was like, cool. When I got there, there was a guy sitting at the end of the bar and there was a girl behind the bar. Now the guy at the end, I believe he's the manager. I did a little bit of research this morning. I was looking at some pictures and things, and he was the manager. The girl she was great. She was friendly, great service. I got my beer. Bar itself, lovely and clean, proper old fashioned. You know, like just the usual nice wooden furniture, lots of wood. Very, very small bar, very intimate and I mean intimate because anything, if you were to sit down with somebody and have a chat with them, the fucking bar staff are hearing that. Just like with me sitting there, even though I had my fucking Jimmy Carr book I was trying to read, I could hear everything that was being said by any of the bar staff. There was another girl that came in a little bit later on as well, and you could hear everything that was going on. Nothing untoward. The music was, I don't know. I'm a massive music fan. I listen to all sorts of music, all sorts of genres of music, and it was weird to have sat there for about, 2-3 hours, just under 3 hours, and not have recognised one single song. So, you know, it did its thing, just ambience playing away in the background. I know that they do pizzas there, so I think they do like I don't know whether it's the staff there that do them or whether it's pop-up pizza. There was no pizza when I was there, so I'm guessing they just do pizzas maybe dinner time or later on or some shit like that. So they had crisps. One of the main things that had drawn me to the Sunflower was the things that I'd seen online about craft beers, and yeah, they do. They don't. I can't even remember whether they did have the usual suspects on tap. I can't remember seeing Guinness or Carlsberg or anything like that. But what I did see was this nice little selection of local beers, Kennegar and Beamish, there was Ormer Road, and then there was Budvar, Budweiser, and then a fridge, or a row of fridges, which were literally filled with different beers from local breweries. Now, I didn't ask, I completely forgot to ask whether you could buy them and take them with you. But yeah, great selection there. So yeah, like I said, massive selection of beers in the fridges. You know, all these tins from local breweries. I think it's fucking great. It's brilliant, and especially for tourists as well to try some of the local beers, because there's some amazing ones out there. But I personally struggle with the concept of buying a tin of beer in a pub. I've done it, don't get me wrong, I've done it. I just struggle with the concept of doing it when I could pop home and tuck into, I've got about 50 different bloody beers in my garage. But that's just a personal thing there. I think it's fun to maybe get some of these tins if you're with somebody else. Like, I was by myself, you know? So I think if you were to buy some of these tins of beer, and you're sitting with your friend and you can fucking share one and you talk about it, I think that's fucking great. Particularly if they've got, like, you know, some sort of mad sour, Vault Cities, that sort of thing. I think it's good to be able to drink them with somebody and talk about them. So I had a pint of Homesick to start off, which was a tropical pale ale from Ormer Brewing. It was nice. I've said before, I struggle a little bit now, you know, talking about pale ales and IPAs and New England IPAs and West Coast, because, you know, they're all much of a muchness, and all I can say is whether they're great or not. And this was a great beer. It was nice and flavourful, lots of tropical here, little tang at the end, just a little bit of a bitterness at the end. I could have quite happily just stuck to them, but then I spotted Beamish on tap. I've never had Beamish before. I've never had it in tin form, and I've never had it in any pubs before, and I like a Guinness, and you know, you're going to compare most Irish stouts to Guinness, so I was like, fuck it, we'll get a fucking glass of that. Silky smooth as you like, really enjoyed it. A little bit lighter than Guinness, it felt a little bit lighter on the stomach, a little bit of a lighter flavour, strong aftertaste, strong after flavour, which was, it was pleasant, it was nice, kind of toasty, roasty, you know, nice flavour at the end. Hint of sweetness, couldn't put my finger on what the sweetness was, but you could feel that in there as well. So that was a nice pint. And then I finished up with a pint of Kinniger Rye IPA. I hadn't spotted the word rye when I initially ordered it, and I was a little bit worried then when the girl pulled the pint for me, and I was like, oh shit, saw that sort of, you know, red colour, that rusty colour. I think it was called Rust something as well, Rust Bucket maybe, could be wrong. But yeah, it was a rye IPA. And I sort of sat down and looked at it for a bit and was like, okay, what are we going to get ourselves into here? Turned out to be delicious. It was nice, it was refreshing, little hint of spice in there. Got your usual sort of tropics as well, which I wasn't expecting. I was expecting, I don't know, a bit more, something similar to like a fucking classic bottle, like, you know, what's it called, Thirsty Ferret or some shit, you know, one of these fucking amber beers, but it was much nicer than that, much nicer. I know it was a random thing, but the toilets were easy to find. Big sign up above, no messing about, nice and clear. Toilets, nah, you know, toilets, bit of graffiti in there. No hand dryer, which for me is great, because I don't really like hand dryers in pubs, particularly because they're recycling the smell of piss, you know, and that's sort of being blown around and all. So they got nice little paper towels that you can use to dry your hands, so happy enough with that. Before I left, I popped out into the beer garden. I'd seen a couple of people come in, get some beers and go out through this other door, so I was like, you know, they're obviously not taking their beers to the fucking toilet, so let's have a little look where they've been going then. And the beer garden was great. It was really great, and considering the weather was shit yesterday and it was quite cold, it was warm. Lots of sheltered bits out there. Ultimately, when it comes to the Sunflower pub, I haven't got a bad word to say about it. You know, it's a traditional bar, you've got a nice range of different beers on tap, you know, not your usual fucking Carlsberg and your Guinness. You've got a selection of nice beers in the fridges behind the bar. So if you want to try some local beers, you've got those there as well in the tins, so you can have some of them to try. You've got a nice big beer garden, plenty of space out there, well sheltered. And I'm aware that, like I mentioned before, they do pizzas as well. Would I go to the Sunflower Pub again? Do you know, I think I would. And I would do it because this was the first time I went there. It was the first time I was doing one of these videos. So I felt that maybe the whole experience was a little more different than what it would be if I was just going, you know, just for a pint, without it being in mind that I was going to do a review of it. I think this was very much a pilot episode. It was a pilot episode. It was a pilot visit to the pub. I think it gives me a better idea of what to expect and what to think when I go into some of the other pubs going forward. But I would 100% go to the Sunflower Pub again, and I'd probably sit out in that beer garden quite happily with my book, with my pint, and just chill.
Could go and get another pint. Could go and get another pint now. Could go to John Hewitt, get a cheeky